And what I was going to tell you, getting back to what I was talking about, the breaking of the host, the breaking of the thieves' legs, on the altar at this moment, you would see the host broken in half, and then another piece from one of the pieces is broken off. So that if you put the two pieces of the host together, there's a hole in it from the piece that the priest breaks off. And it's beautifully symbolic of the hole in the side of our Lord. You put the two halves of the host together, there's this hole. And the priest actually, when he strikes his breast to say the Agnus Dei and such, he has the host together like that. And later on when he says the Domine non sum dignus before he receives the host for Holy Communion, he again has the host together like that. He's holding them together where he sees that hole in the host. I know it's something none of you will see unless you serve right at the altar as an MC in the Mass. But that's what's on the altar at this moment. And it shows you what I'm saying to you is correct, is true. That every part of the Mass has a symbolism. That's why our liturgy is so beautiful. The Western liturgy of the Catholic Church, it's so beautiful. I've heard Eastern Rite Catholics and people that love the Eastern Rite liturgy, and they're right to praise their liturgy. God bless them. And they praise it, and they say the Western Church is lacking all this symbolism and beauty. And I say, no, you're wrong. It's not true. The Latin Church has that symbolism and beauty. It's just that the people, for the most part, don't know it. They don't understand it, that in every Mass, these things are all shown to you. And so that's why we wanted to give you these classes, so that you know what the Latin Mass means and how every single part of it has a beauty and a symbolism to it that reminds you of what our Lord did for each one of us. Now, the priest takes that piece of the host that he broke off. Remember I told you, he cracks the host in half, then he cracks a piece off one of the halves. And what does he do with that piece? He takes that piece of the host and he makes the sign of the cross 3 times over the chalice. And it represents the 3 days that our Lord spent in the tomb. Our Lord, those 3 signs of the cross, our Lord was in the tomb for 3 days, 3 nights, because they counted the days, they count Good Friday as the one day, Holy Saturday is the second day, and the beginning of Easter Sunday is the 3rd day. So they say our Lord rose from the dead the 3rd day. And the priest says another prayer for peace. As I told you just a few minutes ago, the church is constantly praying for peace now. May the peace of the Lord be always with you. And he drops the host into the chalice and he says, may this mixture and consecration of the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ avail us who receive it unto life everlasting. And this is one of my, obviously the whole Mass, we love every portion of the Mass, but this portion of the Mass is one of my favorite for its symbolism, as I've been telling you about the symbolism of the host on the altar at this moment, that with that little piece of the host, and you know that even if the priest broke the host in 100 pieces, every portion of it is still the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. That is, you could receive just a small portion, and you're receiving the whole of our Lord. You all know that. So the priest takes that portion of the host, and he says that prayer for peace, and he drops it into the chalice with the words that I just said. May this mixture and consecration of the body and blood of our Lord avail us who receive it unto life everlasting. And that symbolizes the resurrection of our Lord. The 3 days in the tomb with the 3 signs of the cross, and then the bringing together again, the body and blood of our Lord. That is, the host, of course, represents the body of our Lord, though it is in itself the body, blood, soul, and divinity already. But he drops it in the chalice, which symbolizes, of course, the blood of Christ. And the bringing the two of those together again represents the resurrection. Our Lord comes back to life. His soul returns to his body. He's resurrected. And so at this portion of the Mass, you're saying these prayers for peace, and our Lord symbolically rises again. And what were the first words he said to his apostles when he rose? Pax vobis, peace be with you. And that's what we say when we do this mixture of the body and blood of our Lord. Pax Domini sit semper vobiscum. May the peace of our Lord be always with you. You see how beautiful the Mass is. And already now in the Mass, we are celebrating the resurrection. The Mass is not just the death of our Lord on the cross. It's his whole life. It's his resurrection.